today I want to talk about a couple of things. Obviously, we've been talking this week about cold wells and all things cold here at Hatco, but quite frankly, I feel like I've exhausted that for the week, so we're going to talk about something different. And today's topic is going to be reopening, right? So as you've seen in the news, Wisconsin is going to be, reopening, no mask, no distance. I don't know all the stipulations, but while our fearless leaders are deciding what's best for the country, and this talk is nothing to do with, politics, right, wrong, or indifferent, whether it's tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, they know more than me. I'm not a virologist. I'm not a politician. Quite frankly, I don't know what tangible skills I actually have. About now, it's changing diapers and making sure that children under the age of 3 don't kill themselves. But outside of that, I'm a toaster salesman. So here at Hatco, we're trying to figure out what the best approach is to kind of help out our food service industry when it comes to reopening. So I want to kind of get the chat stirring here. A lot of times we talk about being interactive, and that comes down to the question and answer session. But now, if you have the opportunity, open up the chat box at the bottom. And if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and enter in one of the comments, and we try to monitor those. And perhaps your question or your comments will be a topic for future discussion. But today, here's my question for you. I want to know what you think the biggest changes are going to be moving forward, hopefully pertaining to some sort of food warming or a Hatco-related product. But if not, that's okay too. Kind of what you think the biggest change is going to be. Are restaurants going to be able to open with only 25% capacity in order to social distance? What is your thoughts on that? How about what Hatco product you can see most relevant in this reopening process? And here's one for you. Have you had a customer, or if you are the customer, have you had some sort of problem that you are trying to overcome with the reopening process that you've approached other people and tried to get an answer on? And quite frankly, right now, nobody has a solution. It's a group like this with our consultants, our dealers, our customers, our rep basis. Look, I'm stuck here in an office. I rely on my news, fake news on the internet, publications in the industry to kind of get my information. But you're out on the streets. You have relationships with a lot of those restaurateurs and customers and dealers. What are you seeing right now? Perhaps a group like this could help solve some of those problems that you're running into. So briefly, we'll take a look at chat and see if anybody has anything. If not, maybe we can prolong some of those conversations to next time. Let's see. You can't say that you're surprised to hear that about Wisconsin. In Nevada, Craig's saying 50% capacity. So, the question becomes, can you fully operate? You're clearly not going to be able to bring back 100% of your staff if you're only operating at 50%. Perhaps the to-go area will make up the other 50% so that you can bring back the majority of your staff. So that'll be interesting. Nick, Ohio's been told to govern themselves when it comes to capacity. So follow social distancing guidelines. Obviously, they're keeping your social distance. They're going to have to maintain some less than 100% capacity. So that'll be interesting to see. Great comment. Nathan, they did not implement a capacity rating, just maintaining a 6-foot distancing from each other. So there you go. As long as you're 6 feet. There was a local restaurant here that opened up, and they were actually a drive-in. And what happened was so many people showed up. They were in the parking lot treating it more like a tailgate than a restaurant. And the owner of the restaurant actually had to close it back down. So I think they were open for less than 6 hours before they had to close back up. Craig, I think the lockers will become more popular for to-go. Awesome. So great stuff, guys. We're going to continue to read some of those as we get to the question and answer session at the end. But I'm going to jump back into the remainder of the topic here. So we want to hear from you. So send me some of those topic ideas. Send me some of the answers to those questions. But the reason and why I brought this topic up is because Jay actually sent me an article today. And I won't mention who wrote the article because I didn't clear it with that person or not. But it's a publication that's out to the public. Anybody can see it. It's not some sort of secretive thing. But one of the excerpts was barriers between consumers and food products are going to be an absolute necessity. Now, I'm sure I didn't blow anybody's mind with that. I'm sure we were all thinking the same thing. However, it got me thinking about some of the products that we have. You know, there's one product that I tend to forget all the time. I fully admit it. My boss is probably on here and he's probably kicking himself. I never think of this product, but it works perfectly for this scenario. Any guesses? I'll give you a second to maybe write it in there. Full service design. So here's what I'm calling today's topic is the full service design, and it's the Glow Ray Designer heated display cabinets. You know, I'm so used to pushing self-serve options, accessibility, air curtains. You know, very rarely do I ever get the opportunity to even talk about the designer series of the curved display merchandisers, because they are full service. Now, there are some options on a few of them where you can have a customer facing side, which offers self-serve. But what a great time for reopening. If you're going to see buffets go away and go to more cafeteria style where you're going through a line, you know, rather than just throwing up a sneeze guard and making a rather square boxy design, these have the design coming right out of the catalog. So you can see here, it's a curved front display. This right here is our GRCD. And what you're looking at here is picture, if you remember back to our merchandiser conversation, we have thermostatically controlled heated bases along with heated cal rods over the top of them. But to do one better than the merchandiser, we have glass on all sides of this. So it really encloses the environment and it gives you a longer hold time. And it also gives you a very nice looking display. Now, I know everybody's hotel pans, especially the 2.5-inch deep ones there, they all look just like that, brand new out of the box. So we do have some shrouds and bases that you'll see in future pictures here to cover some of those up, because I know everybody doesn't have those pretty perfect out of the box hotel pans. In fact, I don't know if anyone has any of them left. And the minute that they're taken out, they end up looking crappy. So moving forward, you have them in single tier. You also have them in a dual tier. And now there's also the GRCDH. Any guesses? And we've gone over a lot of different Hatco model numbers. They tend to make a little bit of sense. H stands for humidity. So take a look at the bottom. There's that shroud I was talking about. It hides that hotel pan, so it gives it a nice clean look. But if you take a look at the difference here, this just has a heated base. This one has the humidity. What's the big telltale sign? See these little slots right here? There is going to be a spot for you to put water, and that's one of the telltale signs that you can quickly look at a unit and determine whether or not it has humidity. Now, the humidity is going to be for the first area. Glass shelves are available. This front curve does flip forward for easy cleaning, but that is not a self-serve option. This is a serve only, meant to go on a line. Here's another version of that humidified in a single but a dual shelf. So you can see we have multiple different sizes. But really what I'm going for is the design of it. It looks good. And then we have here, which is our FSCD, along with our FSCDH, which again stands for humidity. But take a look at something kind of unique here. Number one, this has convected air. So you get away from the thermostatically controlled base and a cal rod element over the top. And now we're moving air throughout this unit. Now, the other thing to point out is take a look at that bottom shelf. It adds a little bit more design. The Swanstone is standard on the bottom shelf, and you can also get an optional color in either the granite gray or the sandstone color. With that, that's going to wrap up today's talk. I thought it was good to talk about reopening, and this right here is a great example of design meant for full service applications. If you're looking at opening a cafeteria or somewhere where you want to display your food in a grand looking scale, these can be placed next to each other. We have them on widers. You can get them on singles. You can get them dual. So this really gives you a good look moving forward for reopening. So with that, that's going to wrap up today's topic. I'm going to shoot back over to the chat here. I know I missed a few of these. With the 25% capacity regulations, we've seen some restaurants that have closed half of their parking lot and created a barrier to increase the amount of tables they can serve. That's a great idea. You know, that would have solved the problem I was just talking about here in Wisconsin, where they were all congregating and not following the social distancing guidelines. So that's a great idea. I think we'll also see a faster rise in third-party delivery systems That's another great idea. So one of the ideas that we were looking at is how can we bolster to-go? Obviously, we talked about the locker system, but we do have some more ideas in the works. I won't steal any thunder there, but we could have some cool stuff for to-go options. Self-service gone, grab and go, touchless, antimicrobial, mobile ordering are buzzing. Totally agree. Antimicrobial is a really good one too. You will see Hatco getting into that as well. Dobson, I really like the idea of having modify existing equipment in the kitchen to adapt to change, i.e. the hot wells using the heated shelf and the new product introduced a few weeks ago. More packaged food is going to be the focus. So once again, a lot of people are agreeing here. Christine, just need FSCD 3, 4, and 5. I know right now we are limited to sizes, so you'd have to put them next to each other. But for the right opportunity, and as we see people demanding this more and more, that could be something that we put into our EWR system, or for those of you that don't know, that's our engineering system, where we put in different project ideas, and then they determine whether or not they turn into actual products. Brent, we're hearing schools are going to go all prepackaged. That's a really good one, and I would really challenge you guys, if you could give me some information, perhaps for a topic of conversation, but if you have relationships with some of the food service directors, the K through 12s, even the colleges and universities, kind of what you see them doing, those will all be great things to share with everybody in a forum like this. So if you want to shoot those over in an email, placedinshelter@gmail.com, I would love to share those with people. That's going to wrap up today's conversation. And I'm going to go ahead and share a couple of memes today. This one came in from Matt, and I really like this one. So this came from a teacher. Today, one of my 4th grade students renamed himself Reconnecting on our Zoom call and pretended that he was having internet issues to avoid participating in our lesson. I don't know who this kid is, but we need to hire him because he's a genius. And I know this has taken off, so more and more people have seen this. But whoever the first one was, whether it was a boy, girl, whoever, we need to hire them because that was genius. The next one, again, not to stir any debate, but this is meant as a joke. This is what virologists wear to protect themselves from a virus. But don't you worry, your bandana, it works too. And last but not least, years missing from your resume. What did you do in 2020? Well, I washed my hands. Hopefully I never have to go through that process. And with that, that's going to wrap up today's conversation. So thank you guys so much for showing up again today. I really do appreciate it. If you are catching us on YouTube and want to be a part of the conversation, you can simply use the description in the link in the description below. If you want to hit the bell notification over here, that'll let you know that anytime Hatco posts a new video, and show us that you're enjoying the content by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thanks everybody and have a nice day.